Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Plymouth Community School Board for July 12th, 2016. If you will join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into the rest of the agenda, just recalling the last meeting that Mr. Bob McKell was here, we were congratulating him on his retirement. A stark example of how precious life is. If you'll join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. The setting of the agenda, are there any additions or corrections this evening? Hearing that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 1.3, are there items on the agenda that anyone would like to speak to this evening? Yes.
Laura Cryer, PEA. Item 2.3, monthly claims, just have an informational question. And item 3.10, new tech contract as well, informational questions.
3.10. Anybody else? We'll have another opportunity near the end if something were to change. Okay, on to section 2, consent agenda. Are there any of the consent agenda items that any board member would like to have pulled out, considered separately? Seeing none, entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Lori, you have a question on a claim?
Yes. Under the 2.3 monthly claims, there were 3 teachers that received reimbursements from the corporation, and the funds were made available through Title II. The question is, was that part of what was negotiated within the contract for tuition reimbursement and licensing reimbursement?
I don't know the answer.
Yes, it was, okay. The first teacher was reimbursed for $109, which was for social studies assessment, I believe, so that would have been the licensing part, correct? The second teacher was reimbursed for approximately $1,600 for tuition, so that was to get credentialing for a class that teacher will be teaching?
Just the new credentialing, I don't know what it's for.
Okay, because the language within the contract does say to get credentialing for a class that they would be asked to teach. And that would be the same question for the third teacher who received $2,316 for tuition reimbursement. Is that for credentialing for a class that they're going to be teaching?
I can get back with you on that. I want to look at the language too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with any questions? Have a motion and second to accept the consent agenda. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, in the business transactions, first item 3.1 is a report on the alternative high school.
It's a pleasure to introduce Susie Clevenger.
Oh, wait a minute, time out. I'm going back. Somebody's got to wave their hand. I noticed that. I was going to say something and I totally blew right through it.
That's okay.
Please, we have introductions.
We do. We have 2 new teachers here at Webster this year. We have Anna Covert, who will be teaching kindergarten with us this year at Webster. She's done some extended leaves in the Warsaw school system. And we also have Erica James, who will be a new 4th grade teacher with us, and she has some experience teaching in Wisconsin, 3rd and 5th grade. And along with her are other Thomas Kennard and Amy Rennie, who are other 4th grade teachers. So we're glad to have them.
Yes.
Well,
Congratulations.
Would you like to say anything? You're welcome to.
I have nothing prepared.
What's that?
I have nothing prepared, but I'm really excited to be here.
That'll change when you get to class.
Absolutely.
I'm also very excited.
Good. Are you coming from Warsaw? Welcome to the bright side.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. You're welcome to stay, you're welcome to not stay.
I told them I'd take them so they could see the rooms at the
Okay.
building, so they haven't had opportunity to get in.
Have a great year. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, now, we'll move on to 3.0.
And it's still a pleasure to introduce Mrs. Susan for another alternative school.
First of all, I have already appreciated many of the things that I've missed in the short time that I've been gone. One is Bruce Johnson. I purchased my own MacBook and assumed it would be set up with all my settings and everything ready when I bought it. So I had struggled with my settings a little bit on this. And you
He
can
probably
go
hires out on the side.
I'm sorry.
He probably hires out on the side.
He just laughs at me when we're text back and forth, I know. This is the report on the 2015-2016 school year, and you can go ahead, Bruce. I'm going to throw in some pictures first. This was some of the snapshots of our students, alternative school students at senior brunch. They all smiled that day. It's wonderful. And you can go to the next one. And there they are. Aren't they cute? No. Okay, you can go to the next one. Look at Christian laughing. He's the one that said the funny thing I was telling you guys about. Okie doke. I guess I'll start. This was the first year for alternative school since we returned to semesters. I was there at the beginning when we had semesters and went to trimesters. So our morning class and our afternoon class schedules were a little bit different. Morning was 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. That was first through fourth hours, and SRT and homeroom, they stayed with me. Then our afternoon session was 11:30 a.m. to 2:25 p.m., fifth through seventh hours. New to the Plymouth High School scheduling was eighth period that began at 2:25, and that worked out such a positive for alternative school students. Some of my students that weren't too behind in credits got their early release at 2:25. Some of those that needed perhaps to pick up an extra class were able then to go to the 8th hour at the high school and take another class. So that was a real positive for our school, or for the kids actually. The three things that I want to talk about, we still use the Pearson Online Grad Point options. Before we used the sequential option was if a student hadn't taken a class before, they took the entire class section by section. And if they had taken a class perhaps and needed to retake another one, it was the prescriptive where they had to test out. This year, with the intercessions and the remediations, many of the Plymouth High School teachers were able to use the grad point classes for the intercession times. For instance, Mrs. Cryer, if she had a student that needed remediation in supply and demand, she could assign that student just that specific unit or chapter, and that would be the remediation. And they needed to complete that then for her to transfer the credit over. And I believe social studies, science, and some math classes were able to use the flex classes. Of course, we didn't have to worry about our contracted ports because most of the students were out then, so we had those ports open. So it was a good utilization for the high school, it was good for the students, and it was good for our contract. The second thing that we continued this year was the Canvas blended classes, and those are all of our English classes. They meet with the English teachers and review their curriculum. Our students follow their curriculum. So they use pretty closely, not exact, because there's some things we can't do at alternative school they do in a traditional classroom. So they use their online textbooks. We use the grad point portion for grammar. And using PHS curriculum, then our students did their performance writing tasks and the assessments and the end of the course assessments too. Still on the back burner of an option, I keep a traditional coursework option for some students that perhaps online learning isn't their best learning modality. So we do traditional classrooms too. This year, this was my enrollment for the year. First semester were 34. We had 5 fifth-year seniors at the beginning of the year. 3 of those seniors finished by October 1st. So they were counted last year on the 2015. One of the seniors then finished by December 1st, so he is counted on this year's 2016. And then one of our fifth years didn't stick it out and didn't stay. Second trimester, we had 23. And there was a little drop, but the difference in that enrollment is I had more of an in-out with my senior kids first semester. Some finished, we were able to replace with other students, coming in and out. Most of my students, the 23 that were there second semester, were with me almost the entire year. So there's a total of 57 students. Now, Mr. Samuelson will notice the math is not going to match up at one point because some of the data for the students that finished by October 1st, we can't count this year. Okay? Thank you, Bruce.
Were there any impact on numbers, trimester versus semester? Is that?
No, and I think Mr. Hartley brought up a good point, and we talked about it last year, switching to semesters. The numbers were down, but the course completions were the same, if not higher, because those students were able to stay longer in alternative school and finish more courses. So my enrollment was it was down number-wise, but not the course completions that students were able to achieve. It was right what we predicted. I'm not going to have you open up. If there's a hyperlink there, I hope that it does open. It did at home on my rudimentary MacBook. It is the report that I send to the DOE. On that report, you'll notice there's only 54 students listed. And because several reasons. One, many of my students I had also attended night school. So if they attended one program, we can't count them in two. We couldn't count them twice. Also, I put a lot of students in there at the end of the semester. If they were not quite complete with a class and they needed a little extra time, Mr. Olson and I would enroll them in night school. So they were there, but you have to be in an alternative setting for 10 days to be counted. So maybe they only needed a couple days to finish. Also, the DOE will not let us count on any of our grant students that are not assigned more than 2 classes. So if a student is assigned 1 class at alternative school or 1 class at night school or 2 classes, we can't count those on the eligibility and outcome report because they are not deemed technically an alternative student by the state of Indiana. By me, they are. So, and you're welcome to look at that hyperlink later. Okay. This is the I keep wanting to say mine. Katie's and mine. This is Katie Duran, who's going to make the alternative school course pretty soon. The 2015-2016 enrollment was 57. Last year we had 66, but remember we are on trimesters last year. We had 43 seniors. Those include the 5 that were 5th year, 3 of those which we counted for last year. Isn't this a mathematical equation? So, and the 1 student didn't complete. So we're really counting 38 students, 35 of which of those seniors completed and received their 2016 diploma. You'll see pictures of them later. 3 students, Mr. Delt and I and Mr. Olson have been tracking to their work, to their house, to their homes, to their parents, to their probation officer. Those 3 students need about 2 chapters for their last high school credit to receive their diploma. So I am hoping by October 1st they make it, and no, my job is not done until they do. So they, I'm sure they've all call blocked me by now because I'm sending constant reminders. I pull up to Kentucky Fried Chicken and yell through the window at one of them, and I've done it all. So right now the alternative school graduation rate is 92%. So if those 3 finish, which I'm counting on that they will, that we could have 100% this year. Part of my position, I was going to say job, but I might have taken this on myself and just called myself the boss, I don't know, was to also monitor all the grad point credit recovery night school course completions. So there are their course completions listed there. First semester I had 127, PHS credit recovery had 63, night school had 9. That number is low because they have a late delay start. They don't start till maybe a couple weeks after Labor Day. And some of those students could have been my students I put in there temporarily too. Second semester I had 96, credit recovery 134, night school 41, 270. We had a total of 470 course completion credits through all of those programs, different than 407 from last year. I attribute that to we had a teacher jump in, and Mr. Bales teaches 5 sections of credit recovery. We had another person, Mrs. Tyree, jumped in, very effective, very successful with her kids, and that's why their numbers went up so much. We had 8 periods a day of students working on credit recovery. So pretty big jump in that. I'm really proud of all the teachers that participated in that. And here's graduation. And I love the new graduation where they load on both sides, except I can only get pictures on one side. So I have given many suggestions to Mr. Condon how I could set as a faculty, maybe up with you guys, and take those pictures so we could get them all, because see, they love to have their picture taken. So probably because I'm yelling at them as they're walking by. But anyway, I have just a few closing things. I'm so thankful for every board, every principal, every guidance counselor, the technology department, everybody for making our alternative school, I think, I'm not going to cry, one of the most successful in the state. But I don't do it alone. I absolutely don't do it alone. When I come in on Sundays, I am not the only teacher in the parking lot. When I'm here at 6 in the morning, I am not the only teacher in the parking lot. When I send out 15 emails a day, because one of my students has back assignments, I get an answer back from every Plymouth High School teacher. It's a team. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
I didn't cry till the end.
Making me cry.
Well, we certainly appreciate your contributions and dedication, and you got to come back and check on us, make sure
I'm
we're still
put into
doing
sub.
things right.
So,
That's great.
and Candy's car's here that early too.
Thank
Well,
you.
I've been on a few teams, and it is a team effort. I know that what is driving success. I also know that every team needs a leader, and every team has a heartbeat. Every team has a pulse.
She's my leader.
Now I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've seen in my time here, and what you've done. That alternative school is nothing short of spectacular and miraculous. And the benefactors are in our community and out doing things that they probably would not have been able to do without you. And what greater thanks than to have that. So bless you for all that you've done for us.
Now that I'm sitting down, maybe I can regroup. I told all of my students that my goal for all of them was to walk into a place every morning they love being in. And I did. And it's because I have a great team. I miss them. Nobody emails me. Dan shut me off. I have no idea what's going on, if I need to respond to anyone. Thank you so much.
I'm equally excited where we're going. So big shoes to
Yes,
fill.
I am so excited that Katie's going to be there. She's going to bring new breath and new opportunities and a different room and get the old broad out, the new one in.
I'm sure if she has any questions, she has your number, right?
Retext. Retext. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Any questions? Okay. 3.2, permission to hire. Nothing? All right. Under 3.3, update on the school lunch pricing.
Yes, we were supposed to bring that back to you in case we got the waiver.
Oh, yeah.
We have received the waiver, and so we will not be increasing school lunch prices. They will remain at last year's amounts.
Need any action from us?
No, I think if we had voted
Yep.
to do it, if we got the waiver, we would remain.
All right, all right. Very good, thank you.
And we were just to report back to you.
Good news. 3.4, revisions to the classified staff conditions of employment.
Yes, new regulations came out from the Department of Labor concerning salaries and hourly people. And so we have cleaned up some of those categories and kind of shortened that big massive conditions of employment to be a little bit easier too. We condensed it a little bit and tried to make it a little bit more clear. I ask that you review and approve as presented.
You know, the table will consider, we've heard the recommendation, I'll consider for, need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, any questions? It's pretty straightforward. No questions, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 3.5, consider amended Viva administration agreement.
And now this is due to federal regulations that we are having to update this document. It's a plan document for the administrators. We did one a while back on security
Yeah.
benefit one, and this one was just a little lagging. They had a lot of changeover in staff, so that's why it was just a little lagging.
Entertain a motion to accept the amended Viva administration agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.6, consider selection of a newspaper for legal ads.
I think we've always picked the Pilot News as the newspaper. I see no reason not to go along with it. So my recommendation is to choose the Pilot News for our legal advertising.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, a couple seconds. Any questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.7, consider approval of annual financial report for publication.
Yes, this is the annual financial report that is due to the Indiana Department of Education. And this is all information from 2015 that we don't report until August, between August 1st and August 15th, we have to advertise this. And then we have to send proof of publication and the whole report down to DOE. And I have, if you have a copy of it there, those are the figures.
Any questions? Or, let's get a motion to approve the report for publication.
So moved. Second.
Any questions?
Why is it 2015 that we publish before the 2016? I just don't understand. I mean, never mind. Never mind. I withdraw my question. I forget.
It's 2015 information, and you're wondering why they lag so far behind to report?
Yeah, right.
It's government, it's,
It's government. I don't know. Because it's old law that no one's gone back to change, and that's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
Because they've also added an annual financial report through State Board of Accounts via the gateway system, which is,
Yeah.
but it's different information. That, the one through gateway is based on the fiscal year. And I think this one, they want calendar year information because our budgets are in calendar year. Does that make sense?
Good enough.
Just extra work.
Thank you.
I lost track. We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.8, consider the MBHC contract for 16-17.
Yes, this is a renewal of our contract with Michigan Behavioral Health Center, providing services to our students out there. It's very similar to years past, a little different funding structure that's actually going to save us money, but maintain services as they are, so presented to you for your approval.
Entertain a motion?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions?
How many students are we talking about, Andy? Over a period of a year?
The students are in and out of there, but on an average day, we'll have 25 secondary students, 7 through 12, and maybe 9 to 11 elementary students. Great numbers.
It's a lot of kids.
I'm just curious.
Have a motion and second. All in favor, please, or did I do that?
No.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.9, consider St. Joe Regional Medical Center school nurse contract for 16-17.
Yes, this is a renewal of our annual contract for the school year for the school nursing staff. No changes in staffing, and they did receive a slight cost of living increase. It's kind of out of our control at times, but I did speak to them about the fact that I can't increase my money, so I'd like to look at them trying to keep it less for us. So we're talking about that, and so it was about a $5,000 increase overall with the contract.
Refresh my memory, how many nurses is
There are 7 nurses and 2 health aides. One nurse per building, I'm sorry. And then 2.
Heard the explanation, recommendation, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Any questions, excuse me? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3.1, consider new tech network continuation agreement.
Yes, there are 2 parts to this. One is for the student learning management software, and that's Echo, and it's a brand new update on that. And so the students who are in new tech and use Echo, they will not be using the software that we have for the other students. I think every place but the high school. And this year we had, they were so, thought that the new software was so good that even Washington is going to go with that software to use because they feel like it's better than the software that the rest of the school is using. The other part is professional development, and as I've said, since we got involved with New Tech, it is the best professional development because what New Tech uses is best practice from all aims of life, of educational life, and they package it so that it works for New Tech, but it also, we use it for here. Anytime you walk into a professional development, going on in a building, or maybe administrators are doing some professional development, you're going to see things that we picked up through the New Tech. And so that's why we continue to go on with the contract for New Tech, is that it's money well spent. The New Tech receives, our New Tech here receives donations, and the money that they're using for that will be donated money and not money from the general fund or a grant. So it comes from money that they got through the donations.
Heard the recommendation, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Questions? Or
I think it may have been answered. So the money for the contract, which is $96,110, is completely done through donations?
Andy?
Part of it. what we had done was at the end of school last year, there, we did do a purchase order in anticipation of, I knew there was gonna be new tech, renewal coming up. Well, this is a 3-year, is this a 3-year? 2-year, 2-year contract, sorry. So I did set aside some funds for that purpose, but the majority of it will be coming from new tech.
When you
It's
say-
like a 2-year, I don't have that in my brain because I've done it
Okay.
like a month or so ago. But it's partial from general, partial from the donations.
Right. If you could send that information so that we know what percentage, that would be good. The other question is, we're having more and more teachers that are now becoming certified through new tech and able to be, I don't know what the exact title is, I'm thinking of, but where they are now certified in the training. Do we foresee a time where we may be able to do the training, the professional development in-house through our staff who is now certified?
There might be a time when that could happen. Unfortunately, some of the people who have been certified have left us, are no longer here. But we do a lot of things for New Tech right now, and they pay us for that. So we're getting a lot of money from New Tech every year. This year we have 3 schools that will be visitation sites, and every time somebody comes to watch, that money comes in. That money goes into the general fund.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Have motion and second to accept the continuation agreement. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 3.11 project update.
Just to give you an idea where we are, they finally got back to working on this building. We had a water pipe that was running in a place where it shouldn't have, and we had to wait to get that fixed. So the estimated time to get this building finished would be November 1st. And right now, there hasn't been any work done the last several days because we're waiting on the lift to put the roof trusses up so they can be put in place. And as soon as that comes, then we'll be able to continue working on this building. At the out at the football field, the stadium, we've seen a lot of beginnings of landscaping done, so you can start seeing what the elevation is going to look like out there. The cement has been poured under the bleachers. The electricity has gone in. Electricity and the internet has gone in and is being run up to the booth. I think what it's called now. Press box. Thank you. And we're still waiting on the Southeastern Bleacher Company to come back and do the punch list. Dave was on them again this week about getting back and reminding them that we only had so many weeks before our first football game. There's not very much to do, but the bleacher jersey has to be put on, and they have to clean the bleachers, and so there's enough work that we need to get them back to do that. On the restrooms, they've got the inside painted now, they've got the roof on, they've got the outside finish block done, and they're about ready to start putting the toilets and the urinals in. So we're getting very close in there. The gate, ticket gate is about done. They'll start putting the windows in fairly soon, and then on the concession stand, you can see the shape that's taken. There will be 3 sides that are covered. They're finishing the block, they're finishing the roof on that building, and they're starting to put the kitchen on the inside. So I think the things that you're going to see now are really going to be the part that's going to make it aesthetically pleasing to the eye as we get closer and closer to getting done. Still, I see no reason why we won't be done in time for that first game on the
still on, we'll go to superintendent remarks.
I have a question
Oh.
before he gets to that. It's not about that, it's about the tree at the junior high.
The what?
The tree, the old European copper beech tree.
Doesn't look very good, and we've had,
Is it sick?
we've had some
What happened to it?
arborists come out and look at it, and we're taking their advice and doing things that they're saying to do, but it's probably on its last
That's what I was afraid of.
breath, yeah. Doesn't look good.
Okay, I just wondered if you knew.
Oh, yeah, we have been apprised of it and doing what we can do.
Thank you.
Usually at this time, I go through our core values and talk about things that have happened during the past month to illustrate how we use our core values to drive the work and decision-making that we do. This month, all I really could think about was how the corporation, we saw all the core values used in the tragic loss to our colleague and friend, Mr. Piquel. So I'd like to thank everybody who played a role in the memorial service held at PHS Auditorium. Your efforts helped the school corporation honor a man who, as a teacher, touched the lives of many students over the past 38 years. And I think, again, we saw all of the core values being played out. Scheduled August the 2nd is the next meeting. The state made some changes in the budget when we're going to get this stuff in to finish the budget. So what we're asking is that we add a second meeting in August, which would be August the 16th. Thought we had an interference with that today because of redevelopments also on that date, but it's at 5:30, and we very rarely go over an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, so we'll be here by 7 o'clock. Everybody able to be here on the 16th? It'll be the budget workshop. Okay, and then September the 6th is the next regular board meeting, or after the August meeting will be a regular board meeting, and we'll have the budget hearing that night, and then the October board meeting will be on October 4th, and that will be the night that we adopt the budget. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Any questions? Any questions from our crowd? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.